Hi, and thanks so much for watching The Social Life, the place to be for entrepreneurs with a purpose. Today I'm going to be actually answering a question from Adrienne, and she wanted to know if she should start a foundation that can be linked to her nonprofit, or if she should actually do them separately. One of the things you need to know in starting your foundation or nonprofit is that the word foundation doesn't have a legal meaning. So people generally, if I say, oh, this is a foundation, generally there's a connotation that comes along with that. It sounds like, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or something where there's a lot of money behind it and they basically grant funds out to other nonprofits. Now, unless you're trying to do that, which Adrienne, I don't think that's what you were actually trying to do. I think you might like the name foundation because you were talking about Hirschsprung disease. And my recommendation on that would be to stick with doing a nonprofit because a foundation really does have that true connotation um, of someone with a lot of money starting a foundation that is going to kick off interest that you then use to give to other nonprofits and charities that you might want to support. So the things that you need to know about a foundation and actually starting a foundation is that there are two different types. There is a private operating foundation, and then there's the most common, which is a private non-operating foundation. Now, the private non-operating foundation is the most traditional that you may know of, which is a foundation similar to Bill and Melinda Gates or any sort of large foundation, like Target might have one. There are lots of large organizations where generally the funds are from an individual or from a corporation where they bestow a certain amount of funding towards a foundation, and then their purpose is to basically support nonprofits or other organizations that support whatever their mission or vision is. Now, they do go through the same process as starting a nonprofit, but generally, if you cannot become a public charity, like if your mission and vision don't fall in line with providing a public benefit, then these people will go and they will start a private operating foundation. And that private operating foundation is something that can kick off the funds that were already invested, which is the 5%. And that 5% will then go into their own programs and services. So if you wanted to start an event or something every year, or you had services that you provide to other children that have Hirschsprung disease, then you would actually start your foundation and use those funds from your foundation that were kicked off from the interest from your net assets, and you would actually put those into programs and services that would run essentially as a nonprofit. So you're able to basically use the nonprofit side of things and programs and services that a nonprofit would provide under the umbrella of your foundation and the funds that are kicked off from there. But basically you'd be funding yourself from funds that you put in there or that a corporation helped you start. And then they generally don't get funds from the public. So that will really make the decision for you if you should be a foundation or a nonprofit. If you're looking for funds from the public, then you would want to go the nonprofit route. If you have funds that you want to start with and build on your own, then you might look at starting a private operating foundation. So I really hope that helped you. I know that was a little bit convoluted, but the main thing you need to know is that foundation does not have a true legal meaning. You still go through the same process as creating your nonprofit, and you would be starting a private operating foundation because you actually do want to provide programs and services, which would negate the reason for you to have a foundation and a nonprofit. So if you're just looking for a way to raise funds and provide the services and programs that you want, then I would suggest that you just go the nonprofit route rather than the foundation and the nonprofit. You don't need both, and you don't need to have foundation in your name because I think that it would also confuse your donors who are looking to maybe help support the organization. And really, you're looking to create an organization which would be a nonprofit organization. And you would qualify as a charity because it is for public benefit. And the big thing to know about charities is that all charities will be considered a nonprofit, and they would go through that nonprofit process, but not all nonprofits are considered charities. And the reason for that is because A charity is strictly for public benefit, and nonprofits can be for anything. You can start a nonprofit for anything. Nonprofits can be homeowners associations and things like that, advisory groups, things that are not necessarily there for public benefit only, and that is the charitable purpose of charities. So that was a little bit of extra that you probably didn't need to know, but I thought it'd be helpful just to understand why I'm saying that you would be considered a charity, which is also a nonprofit, more than you would be considered a private foundation. Now, if you're coming into this with a huge lump sum of funds and you want to invest those funds, and you want to basically be the single individual to fund your foundation, then you may be considering starting a private operating foundation. So I know that was a lot of information. I hope I made it a little more succinct because it was a lot to pack in. But basically, I hope that helped you guys, and I will see you on Thursday. If you'd ever like to attend a live training with the Social Life Tribe and learn from me directly, please be sure to sign up for the Social Life Diaries. That's where I put all of the dates and information for that, and I'll help you join our Social Life Tribe on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Now get out there and unleash your something amazing.